Today's retro Spider-Man Marvel Legends review is about respect. We're adding another mobster to my Spider-Man Rogues gallery, and I'm so excited by this because this is my first ever Hammerhead. Oh, I'm delighted. Let me know down in the comments below if you know if he ever actually appeared in the 90s animated series, which these figures are loosely based on, at least in terms of colour and, of course, obviously the packaging. But I love me some Hammerhead. I love the mobsters of Spider-Man's Rogue Gallery. Kingpin's one of my favourite Spider-Man villains. I love the Rose, I love Crime Master, the Big Man Tombstone, freaking just Silvermane, the Owl, the Hood, Mr. Negative. I dig them all. I find them so entertaining, and Hammerhead is no exception. Let's take a little peek at the bio that they've given to old Hammerhead himself. Hammerhead's skull is reinforced with adamantium, making his head flat on top. All the same, this hard-headed criminal's frequent run-ins with Spider-Man have caused him no shortage of headaches. Ha 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 ha! Classic comedy. His Kung Fu Grip homage square shows you that you can indeed switch his hands, and also a baseball bat floats next to his torso. We've looked at other figures in the wave, all of these lovely folks so far, except for Symbiote Spidey. He's last, spoiler alert. And the packaging shows off an animated series styly Hammerhead down here. The figure himself looks fantastic. He looks, oh no, the dreaded boot cut. Let's see if it impedes his Frankensteinian form, because he is a hench boy. Like, he is big. What the hell are we waiting for? Let's crack open Hammerhead. Before we start, a bit of a size comparison. Hammerhead is roughly the same size as Hobgoblin, for example, in this set, but Hobgoblin's got a big old tall hood, so he's a little on the tall side, but it's mostly his stockiness that is his signature trait here. He's a beefy boy. The figure is quite light because it's, I guess, hollow pieces, perhaps, but he's chunky. He is chunky. His legs are a completely new sculpt, so as such, they have utilised the new tech they're trying out where they get rid of the pegs. His arms are obviously a reissue or reuse from another figure, so he's got the pegs, but the legs, no pegs. No pegs on the legs. The boot cut that I was worried about, let's have a look at the articulation. Characters with a formal shoe in the Marvel Legends waves always tend to be sculpted in such an awful way that they can never quite stand, but Hammerhead's a little different. His feet are a bit wider, and because of the leg sculpt is completely new, look at that. He's got a sturdier bracket for his feet to rest in because the trouser has been sculpted to sit around the top of the shoe. So even though there's a little wibble, so look at that, he can't quite stay completely flat-footed, he at least is not falling the feck over every 5 seconds. Double articulation in the knee, there's no calf rotation, but that's fine, he's a mob, so you're not really going to be doing too much with that. Unfortunately, because of the sculpt, his knees look chuffing massive, but from the front, they look weird, from the side, not too bad. That's a gripe and a nitpick, really. The most you're ever going to really bend his knees like that. Nice that they have the option. Oh! Some paint just flecked off of him. That's interesting. He rotates at the thigh. He also has a decent amount of movement for the crotch, only hampered by the sculpted coat. But of course, if you have him walking or doing action, you can rotate it so that the leg is more prominent in the gap at the front of the coat. He rotates at the waist, as you can see. The coat itself and waistcoat is all one big rubber piece. If you move him, you can feel there's a slight rib crunch. It's probably just a standard rib crunch body under there, but don't strain it. Keep him nice and bulky. His arms pop out and swivel. Not too far, but a decent amount. Swivel at the top. There's a double elbow joint. And his hands have articulation in each individual wrist. His head is on a double ball jointed peg, allowing for a decent range of movement. Not the best, but again, it's Hammerhead. You're mostly going to have him like looking up, leaning outwards, his head down because he's slamming into things. So it's, you know, and he's, as far as like looking threatening, he's got enough movement. to do that. It comes with a couple of accessories, does our here Hammerhead. He's got a gripping hand for his right hand, which is useful considering he also comes with this baseball bat. Nothing much of note on the baseball bat. It's one solid brown plastic piece. It's got a bit of a shine to it. Just sits in his hand basically. Not that special. It would have been nice to have got maybe some scuff marks on it, or a special insignia, maybe even just a spot of blood. I mean, the Kingpin figure had a bloodied face as an alternative head sculpt, so yeah. He also comes with a left hand that's more of a grabbing, sort of casual dangling hand, so you could put another weapon. If you had like a gun, it could sort of rest quite comfortably in that hand. You could also have him, if you can angle it right, cradling the baseball bat perhaps. So that's alright. His right hand that comes standard with the figure is a balled fist, as is his left hand. The left hand with a, and this is a great detail, comes with a knuckle duster sculpt. H-E-A-D. When backwards, which you would read punched into someone's forehead, would spell head. Alright, I mean, hate would have been better. You know. But I get it, like, it's him leaving a signature mark. Hammerhead has been here and punched this dude's block off. Boots have a nice shine to them. The trousers and the costume are the sort of more flat blue with the black pinstripes all over. Nice little ruffle there at the back of the jacket, because it's a slightly oversized jacket, because he's a big chunky boy. Arms are a little shiny in comparison to the legs and the vest, but whatever. I think the black shirt, red tie combo really pops. Like, that really stands out. I'm glad they didn't go for a boring standard white shirt. Like, it just looks classy. It looks classy. Looks like it's got a little bit of class, you know? Head sculpt, obviously. Head sculpt. Nice and flat with a slight raise, which I always like with Hammerhead, even in illustrations. If you draw his head completely flat on top, it always looks a bit weird. I mean, that slight raise makes sense. The face sculpt is incredible, as is the paint application. He looks great. He's got pinpoint eyes, very comic booky. Is that some blue in there? That's a little bit of blue in there. Oh, that's beautiful. I didn't even notice that from afar. Sculpt is great. The wrinkles, like sort of the misshapen head toward the top, where obviously the plate is in there and everything's kind of healed up around it. He just looks really intimidating, which is what you want from Hammerhead. Let's see how he looks in action. He's charging, you better get out of the way before he knocks your block off either with his baseball bat or his goddamn adamantium head. Hammerhead in action will probably look better on a shelf in a diorama with Spider-Man, like maybe have them tussling. Take advantage of the extra torso articulation in the classic retro wave style Spider-Man body sculpt so that you can have him bent double over Hammerhead's head. He's pretty great. I know he's not like everyone's cup of tea. Like, people might want more colourful villains like your Mysterios and Sandmans and things like that, but sod me, like, I love the mobsters in Spidey's world, and I cannot wait to add this guy to my Rogues Gallery display. He looks fantastic, especially that face sculpt. That's the winning element. The face sculpt is so good. What do you think of Hammerhead? Do you like him? I like him. Let me know in the comments down below. If you want to help fund future toy reviews, you can do that by going down to the description, clicking on my PayPal link or Amazon wishlist, and funding or buying outright toys for future reviews. Under no obligation, obviously. You don't have to do that at all. But if you want to, I'll be ever so grateful, and you'll get a shout out in the review. If you don't want to do that but want to support me in another way, you can like this video, you can subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, you can comment below or turn on the notification bell. Either way, I'd be very, 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 very chuffed and grateful to you for doing such a thing and taking your time out to watch these. Hopefully you find these reviews helpful and or entertaining. I will catch you again very soon for the last figure in the wave, the symbiote Spider-Man.